Hi everyone, my name's Agnes and today I'm coming to you with my April book haul. So the first three books that I got are all from the Man Booker International Prize long list. I've been slowly making my way through and reviewing the nominees, and two of these actually made it onto the short list. And the first one is A Horse Walks into a Bar by David Grossman and translated by Jessica Cohen. And I've already read this one, so hopefully I'll have a review up soon. But basically it follows a comedian who's doing a stand-up show in a small town in Israel. It's a very topical book, kind of provocative, and I'll talk about it more in my review. The second one that made it onto the shortlist is Compass by Matthias Enard. This is a French novel that received the Prix Goncourt in 2015, and this was translated by Charlotte Mandel. I'm currently reading it, and it's very dense and slow going, but also very intriguing. It kind of reminds me of Proust's In Search of Lost Time, so I'm going to read you a bit from the back so you get an idea. As night falls over Vienna, Franz Ritter, an insomniac musicologist, takes to his sickbed with an unspecified illness and spends a restless night drifting between dreams and memories, revisiting the important chapters of his life, his ongoing fascination with the Middle East, and his numerous travels to Istanbul, Aleppo, Damascus, and Tehran, as well as the various writers, artists, musicians, academics, orientalists, and explorers who populate this vast dreamscape. This is a very interesting book, but at the moment I'm not quite sure where this is going. But I will report back once I finish it. And the third one that I picked up is The Traitor's Niche by Ismail Kadare. He's a highly acclaimed Albanian author and the winner of the inaugural Man Booker International Prize in 2005. This was translated from the Albanian by John Hodgson, and it says, at the heart of the Ottoman Empire, in the main square of Constantinople, a niche is carved into ancient stone. Here the Sultan displays the severed heads of his adversaries. People flock to see the latest head and gossip about the state of the empire. The province of Albania is demanding independence again, and the niche awaits a new trophy. So yeah, it seems to me that this is one of the least popular books from the long list, but I'm interested to read it, and I'll let you know what I think. The next book that I picked up is The Man Who Loved Children by Christina Stead. A while back I saw Adam at Memento Mori talk about it, and he really loved it, so I decided to give it a try. I didn't realize it was such a chunker, but I enjoy a good long family story. And the synopsis of this one says, Sam and Henny Pollitt have too many children, too little money, and too much loathing for each other. As Sam uses the children's adoration to feed his own voracious ego, Henny becomes a geyser of rage against her improvident husband. And caught in the midst of all is Louisa, Sam's watchful 11-year-old daughter. So yeah, this one sounds like an interesting exploration of the inner life of a family, and I'm excited to read it. The next one is also a family story, although a more contemporary one, and it's Bonita Avenue by Peter Buwalda. And this was translated from the Dutch by Jonathan Reeder. It says, Professor seems Sigarius, not sure how to pronounce it, let me know. Maths genius, jazz lover, judo champion, Renaissance man. When Aaron meets his girlfriend Joni's family for the first time, her multi-talented father could hardly be a more intimidating figure, but somehow the underachieving photographer manages to bluff his way to a friendship with the paterfamilias. With his feet under the table at the beautiful Sigarius farmhouse, Aaron feels part of the perfect family. Until that is, things start to fall apart. So yeah, that sounds very good. The next one is Golden Hill by Francis Spufford. Lately this has been getting more attention on BookTube, and I've seen a couple of reviews of it that praised it very highly, so I thought I'd give it a try. It says, New York, a small town on the tip of Manhattan Island, 1746. One rainy evening, a charming and handsome young stranger, fresh off the boat from England, pitches up to a counting house in Golden Hill Street with a suspicious yet compelling proposition. He has an order for £1,000 in his pocket that he wishes to cash, but can he be trusted? This is New York in its infancy, a place where a young man with a fast tongue can invent himself afresh, fall in love, and find a world of trouble. This one sounds like a very exciting story, and I've heard it's very well written, and it received the Costa Book Award for First Novel. So very intrigued by this. I also got Days Without End by Sebastian Barry. This one received the latest Costa Book Award, and it's another historical fiction. It says after signing up for the US Army in the 1850s, aged barely 17, Thomas McNulty and his brother-in-arms John Cole fight in the Indian Wars and the Civil War. Having both fled terrible hardships, their days are now vivid and filled with wonder, despite the horrors they see and are complicit in. Then, when a young Indian girl crosses their path, the possibility of lasting happiness seems within reach. If only they can survive. So yeah, I've seen a couple of people rave about this on BookTube, and I hope I like it. The next is Shadowban by Steve Erickson. Now, if you watched my review of Zeroville, you know how much I loved it. I still can't stop thinking about that book. So I was listening to a podcast interview with Steve Erickson about Shadowban, his latest novel, and I'll leave a link in the description in case you're interested. But after listening to that conversation, I couldn't resist. I just had to order it. The synopsis sounds very bizarre, just like all of Erickson's novels, so I trust that he can do amazing things with it. It says, when the Twin Towers suddenly reappear in the Badlands of South Dakota, 20 years after their fall, nobody can explain their return. To the hundreds, then thousands drawn to the American Stonehenge, including Parker and Zima, siblings on their way to LA to visit their mother in Michigan, the towers seem to sing, even as everybody hears a different song. A rumor overtakes the throng that someone can be seen in the high windows of the southern structure. On the 93rd floor, Jesse Presley, the stillborn twin of the most famous singer who ever lived, suddenly awakes, driven mad over the hours and days to come by a voice in his head that sounds like his but isn't, and by the memory of a country where he survived in his brother's place. Meanwhile, Parker and Zima cross a possessed landscape by a mysterious detour no one knows, charted on a map that no one has seen. So in this book, Erickson is exploring Shadow America, an America that could have been, and I believe that music plays a big part in this novel, and I'm super excited to read it. I'll let you know what I think. I also picked up Mikhail and Margarita by Julie Lekstrom Himes. And what drew me to this book is that one of the main characters is Mikhail Bulgakov, who wrote one of my favorite books of all time, The Master and Margarita. And I believe this follows Bulgakov's life in 1930s Russia, where he meets a woman called Margarita, who supposedly inspired him to write his iconic novel. And he also gets involved in a love triangle where the other suitor is an agent of the secret police. So I'm not sure how much substance this book has, but it does sound interesting, and I'll let you know when I read it. Finally, I also picked up a nonfiction book, and it's Nicholas and Alexandra by Robert K. Massey. I heard about this author on Olive's channel from a book Olive. She did an excellent author spotlight on Robert K. Massey and his 4 most famous works on Russian history, so I decided to pick this one up. This tells the story of Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra, the last Tsar and Tsaritsa of Russia. So I think that I'm aware of the major events in this tragic story, but I'm really interested to learn more about their personalities and the small events and decisions that led to that tragic ending. So those were all the books. Let me know if you read any of them or if any of these sounded interesting to you, and thank you for watching.